Welcome back, everybody. It's another episode of Food and Laughter. I forgot which episode it was, honestly, because we've been doing so many of them having fun. But it's Terrence Galwith is one of your hosts. We got my guy, Lavetti Vegas, over here is another one. And stepping in as a co-host, it is the wonderful alumni of Food and Laughter, Breanna Kalhorn, everybody. So thank you for being here. And then none other than our guest, who we are here to talk to and celebrate, is Ben Webb, Mr. Joy on Purpose. He's been doing stand-up comedy, improv, and other things in the entertaining arts for 5 years now, right? Over 5 years. So welcome, Ben Webb, man.
Hey, man.
Thank you so much.
Right.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah, it's one thing to see it on the YouTube clips and all that and actually smell it and see it here. Yeah, looking forward to digging in with all three of you.
I'm not gonna lie, I get giddy every time we walk in here just looking at this setup because it's cool as hell to me still. Like,
I do like this.
I don't even know how many episodes we're in, and I'm just like, oh, look how cool this is.
I'm a
feel
fidgeter
special.
from time to time. If I look at to see what I can take and not break and just work around, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, not to cut you off though, but we got the food from Margarita's Mexican restaurant. We forgot to say, man.
I was just about to mention.
You was about to mention that? Oh, I'm sorry about that. Let me shut up real quick. I said over here, man. But we got the beef tacos, we got the chips and salsa, and then we got the crab and shrimp enchiladas. I thought they were supposed to be tacos, but you know, they there. I don't know how much of us is gonna grab them because that looks a little messy, but you know, they there for the taking. So I just want everybody to there for the taking.
No, but thank you to Margaritas, man. So Ben, let's get it going, man. 5 years. What got you started, man? Let's start there. What got you started into stand-up?
You know, there's a comedy is something that I've enjoyed all of my life growing up. I really liked family time where we're able to sit around and enjoy. You know, I'm a Disney kid, as a lot are. You know, and you grow on to other musicals and things like that my mom would try to culture us with. But I would always laugh and be more engaged with the cartoons, with Jim Carrey, with Steve Martin, some of those different films. It was not just enjoying what I was seeing and being with family, but part of my mind was already starting to work. Why do I like this so much? Why is this such a nice release? And I feel even better than I normally would when I watch other films. And so comedy's been like one of that lifelong things that I've loved. And you reach a certain age where maybe when you get a little younger and more arrogant, it's like, well, I think I can take a crack at this. Right. What would it take to find out the answer to the question, am I funny or can I be funny? And I had no clue for the longest time. I had no resources for the longest time until I came here to Omaha about 11, 12 years ago. And it's been a long journey since then. Went through a messy divorce, separation, and there was nothing ahead of me preventing me from trying. And I went ahead and got started with Big Canvas. They are a local nonprofit group here in Omaha that does improv, and got started with one of their classes, did the class graduation show, got the laughs. Well, I was able to be a big guy and be silly, falling around, rolling around on stage. I'm like, I can do this and get rewarded and find the answer to the question. Oh, I'm in. And from there, I did my first stand-up open mic, got even further in, and even more so with theater. And I am thoroughly infected with it, and I think I got my answers, but that's subjective. I've got enough of the answer that I need to know this is what I ought to be doing.
To keep doing it.
Yeah.
So after that answer, that's the end of the episode, man. I'm just
You're welcome. One and done.
That's the end of the episode, man. That was a very Ben Webb answer. Hey, man, so you say it all the time, man. Not really all the time, but I see you say it like often, like you want to be clean, but you don't want to be safe. Can you define that, like in your comedy? Like, what's the definition for you, clean but not safe?
Yeah, I don't like comedy. I'm not sure about you guys, but I don't like comedy where I can tell where they're going at least half or 3/4 of the time. My mind just starts clicking off when I can guess where you're going with the punchline, or the premise is just too easy or whatnot. So I don't want it to be safe. I want you to take risks. Like, oh man, should I be here right now watching this? Like, are you allowed to say that? Right. I want that element of comedy, that outlaw element of comedy. But I also want to write. Big Canvas says play to your highest intelligence. And so to write in such a way where most people in the room, you can grab them and they can get it and have something to enjoy. And I found that that's working more clean And so that's I put those things together, and it seems to make people turn their head like, what do you mean by that? Cool. That means you're talking to me. That means we're making more connections. I've said something in such a way that we made a connection, and hopefully a relationship can grow from it. So,
Oh gosh.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, seems to work okay with roast battles and things like that. Looking across the table,
don't say
somebody
nothing.
You're looking at the champ. You're looking
that
at
we
the
have
champ.
thrown down with on a number of occasions where
Yeah.
you let the belt loose a little bit, and it's
I
just
should have mentioned that in your
Yeah.
intro. You know, reigning roast battle champ.
Yeah.
Repeated bully. I'm just I'm playing.
Going from roaster to roast host this weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're doing the WrestleMania one this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be dope.
Newly renovated backline. Yeah.
They already opened back up?
Yeah,
this
last
weekend.
Friday I
Yeah.
think
I
was
gotta
the
get back.
last
I gotta
one
get
they
back with
did.
social media, man. I've been playing, man.
Yeah,
Slightly.
man.
Do you have anything coming up at the backline?
Backline, I'm thinking I might be getting in touch with you about in the coming month or so for WrestleMania, because I know Jaron said that you may be taking point on that for a little bit.
Oh, I mean, I've been the guest host for the past couple of months, but there isn't really a plan going forward that I've been made aware of.
That's fair. Okay.
But yeah, so you did say that the going clean seems to be what plays to the largest audience, but I kind of start to wonder if that might be because your experiences have largely been at Blackstone, which is a venue that kind of markets itself to that kind of audience. So like, have you had like experience like trying to maybe play to different audiences and stuff like that? Or do you kind of just stay true to yourself and see where that sticks?
That's a good question. I try to push, and I try to say yes more often than I say no, especially if there are different crowds, different demographics, or further away from where I live. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to work. I'm gonna have to figure out how can I connect, and I've done a number of that, not as much as I need to. I know I need to do more, but I know part of it is my own personal preference, personal experience. But also, I've been to I go to just as many shows as I perform at, and so folks like Brian Regan, Tim Hawkins, Christian comedian, John Christ, and many others are filling theaters in all these areas, filling churches. I've been in those crowds where they're roaring, hang on every word, and there's not an explicit joke. There's not curse words really that they don't need them. Now, clean, a number of people have ideas of what that means, but clean is, you can talk about pregnancy stuff, you can talk about real things, but the crowd has to give you permission to go there. And even when you go there, you're not the real bloody details, things like that. But when a crowd likes you and they give you that permission, you can do all sorts of stuff. So I got my eye on those comedians that I know I've been in the room for and seen what they do. Like, I know I can, if I'm disciplined, I know I can do that or some imitation of that. And so if that takes discipline and harder work to get there, to write clean, then I might as well, I want to put in the work now rather than be years into it and have a huge mountain I have to learn how to do when I should have been doing it from the start. You know what I mean? I'd rather it be hard at the start and get to other goals than start something that dirty or blue. That's hard too. You got there's a certain skill and you'd be able to connect with crowds as well. But it's harder to learn how to tighten the belt once you've worked with sweatpants for all the time, rather than, hey, I've been more disciplined all this time, now let's loosen the belt a little bit,
So to piggyback off her question, and I know you said you try to say yes more often than you say no, but do you find that trying to navigate that clean comedy style steers you away from particular venues or crowds or things like that? Because they tend to consistently have a crowd that expects blue material, for example.
Yeah, I would hesitate when I know that the circumstances are going to be against me in my favor. Like if I don't have some of those jokes that are just going to really hit hard. I've got some, but there's others that have more of a a style where it's more machine gun, boom, boom, boom. They don't let you breathe, and they pull them in that way. I don't quite have that style as well, and so it's not just the content, but the style. I want to be authentically myself on stage. One of the things I will hate routinely when I'm driving home from an open mic is two main things. If I don't give it my full effort, I'm like, shame on me. I should have given that my full delivery. Yes, there was 2 people there, or whatever the circumstances are, but give it a fair, full delivery. It's that, or that wasn't me. I was imitating so-and-so, Chris Tucker, or whatever the energy is, or whatever, they're trying to get some pity laugh to end your set on so you can get off stage with some kind of dignity. No, you gotta be authentically yourself. So I want to learn how I could step into those spaces, but also be wise of saying, and it's fully fine to be honest and say, this audience, this space is not for me.
The Chris Tucker example. Come on, what? I didn't expect that out of you, man. When you just said that just hit me.
You know, okay. Well, Dane Cook.
No, it's cool.
You
Oh,
got-
yeah.
No,
I would have accepted that more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's
Okay,
cool.
that's
like,
racist,
But do you know what I meant with that,
Yeah, I know
that
what you- I know what
energy?
you-
You know what, man?
Oh, man.
You can't be that.
Pressure.
A lot of comics do fall into kind of the headspace of like, oh, it's either my fault, I'm a bad comedian, or it's the audience's fault and they're dumb and don't get my genius. But sometimes you just don't have a connection with a crowd, and that doesn't necessarily mean they're all idiots, and it doesn't necessarily mean you're a bad comedian. Sometimes you're just a little more niche, and I don't think that's a bad thing either. I fell into the same kind of way sometimes.
Yeah, it might be a harder grind or a longer grind to find those people that you see them. You see them before you hear them, if that makes sense. Where it's the body language of the shoulders, they're leaning forward a little bit, or something you said turned their head. They're paying attention. Now, some of those people may not be outright laughers, or so they kind of need the psychology of the crowd there, but they're connecting with you. And there's the ones that follow you on socials or ask you in private messages, hey, can you come out and do a show for me? Those connections, hey, if it takes longer, so be it. But everybody has something to bring to the table, and everybody can eat. So just trying to be patient and understand that, you know. Yeah.
Now, I'm gonna bring it up, man. It's, I don't like bringing up beef and stuff like that, but it's a disconnect in the comedy community. There's a split down the middle. Everybody's on, a side of this. So I gotta ask you, man. Golden Grams or Cinnamon Toast Crunch, man? Which one's better, man? I gotta ask you, man. Which ones, man? The community's been on some BS, man. I just want to know which one is it for you, man, so I can put you down a tally, and then we can move to another question.
These are
man.
important questions.
You lure me from work, a fat man with food. You've got good hosts and smiles and all that, and you just the bomb. Oh man, I rock with both of them. I really did for most of them growing up. My mom was more simple, so she would stick with the graham crackers and the cinnamon toast, the stuff like that. She would make her own kind of like, I still don't know what it is. It's like butter with cinnamon in it. Something that you put on the morning
I'm hearing
toast.
Ben play politics.
He always
on both
playing
sides,
politics,
so
man. You gotta pick
I hate
one,
it.
But you get
It's Cinnamon Toast Crunch, period.
yeah.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch team is right here, man. I don't know Breanna, but we're gonna just say it's the same thing.
might
Cinnamon Toast Crunch team here, man. Hashtag Cinnamon Toast Crunch, man.
But
I can rock with that. That's good. Yeah, leave the Bears alone.
So speaking of beef in the Omaha comedy scene, like I'm not interested in people's interpersonal stuff, but how do you handle it, right? Like there's in comedy in general, it's not just an Omaha thing. Like I've been in DC, that's where I started. I've been in other markets, and you see that it's always some sort of interpersonal conflict in the groups. How does Ben Webb handle it?
Personally, I don't think I can say I have beef with anybody. Maybe one or two would say they have beef with me.
What? Oh, come on, man. Come on, give us something.
I can
You
guess.
you don't have to.
Give us something.
He's just not excluding the possibility.
I have to. When you do anything as publicly and putting yourself out there, you're going to rub some people the wrong way. But whether they will tell you to your face rather than with friends behind closed doors? I'm sure there's gotta be. Yeah.
Ben's mortal enemy is Facebook commenters.
Oh yeah, true. Because Ben keeps his composure, I think, across most social, whether it's commenting, whether it's interacting, whatever. However, let somebody disparage Ben in comments, and there's like the professional cuss out.
Yeah,
almost, like,
he's very professional and nice. He stabs you very nicely.
like with big words.
Yeah.
I'm a reader.
We know. And we're readers because when we see your comments, it's like, man, chapter 3, man, for this.
Because I think most of us are familiar with that Southern thing, oh, bless his heart.
Yeah.
We really know what is
Right.
being said there. Now, if I can add a little bit more Ben Webb flavoring on that, if you know me, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
In my own way. I'm a Christian boy. I can't really go there. But hey, roast battle, if you signed up for it and all that, then that's the one place where the gloves are completely off. And those who have seen me do it understand what I mean. But,
The consent factor is definitely what makes roast battles kind of an
Absolutely.
exception.
oh, yeah.
And I think from an outside perspective, a lot of people don't see it that way. Like there is that one argument, I think we're both involved in that Facebook comments section. That woman that tried to argue that Robin Williams killed himself because of roast battles.
I remember this comment section.
What was that?
Yeah, this was a while back, like maybe 2-3 months ago.
Did you comment on it or anything?
No, I just.
Oh, you just ready. You a nosy.
Look, man, I am that dude that observes because I want to see what thread is around the corner. All right, that's it. I ain't
So do people ever accuse you of like compromising your image with these roast battles?
I've had several more in the church. Some folks that knew me when I lived in Kearney, Nebraska, where I did my bachelor's degree at UNK, moved out to Omaha to do my graduate. There's some that don't know all of how I've grown and all that. They know the Ben back then, and they say they have concerns, and they're valid concerns because from the outside looking in, how in the world could that be joy on purpose expressed? How in the world could that express love and all there? But for those that from the inside looking out, it's a performance. You know, there is a assent and a consent to what we're doing, and I respect and appreciate and love those that I've battled against, and those who have actually picked up a writing pen and dug in on me and really got some good stuff. Breanna gave me one of the lines that I use still in some of my sets that work every single time. Hurts my feelings every time, but it's fantastic. And there's that connection of I know where it's from, and God bless her for it. And I'm wearing the shirt of she said that I look like a water balloon held up by the neck. It's like
damn.
It's like I love it.
But that's why you love roast battles.
It just hurt me.
I'm saying I got stung.
My goodness.
But people don't understand, man. Like that is a love language. I think like the trash talking is a love language because I'm that guy. My friends, or my close people, I'm like, man, you dirty dog. But let me talk to a stranger. Be like, sir, ma'am.
Oh yeah, sure.
Anybody who knows me, be like, damn, he must really hate those people. He called her sir and ma'am. So do you find that when you take that transformation, do you feel like it's more freeing? Do you feel like you're kind of nervous because of like what she talked about? Is it kind of, I won't say that it necessarily creates a divide, but there's a wedge on some level, right, of like beliefs system. Do you find that you find it more free, or you kind of like, this is cool, but I'll get back to this?
I have less reservations now than when I first started kind of roast battling or doing stand-up stuff because I understand it's performance.
Yeah.
And I'm not giving myself justifications, wiggle room out, all that. I'm facing what I'm doing head on. But if my purpose is to make people laugh, to make them escape for a little while, to have fun, I know what's in my heart, and there's, even if with some of the harshest jokes that I could ever write and sling at somebody, in my heart, it's not from hate. It's because I can't say that I respect you and I love you and I care for you and then just write pitiful jokes. How dare I bring less than my best to slug it out with you when you are bringing at least medium, at least your best. I need to match your respect with my own and bring it out. And that way the crowd wins, because what are they getting? They're getting nothing but both of our best. Yeah, and so it's a performance. When I step off that stage, I know who I am. When I step on there, I am still me, augmented, dialed up. I'm different. You know what I mean? So that's how I'm looking at it.
Right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, that's that persona that we take. It's part of it.
Yeah. So you're nominated in 3 categories at the OEA Awards. Congrats, by the way.
Congratulations.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
From the one you want to win most to the least, put them in order.
Ooh,
That's a good one.
there we go. Yeah, a little touchier than Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And it's like, come on, Ben, drop a name. Let's do it.
Oh, EAA folks are going to be like, and he's not getting that one.
Obviously, I would be lying if I didn't automatically want to get that best comedian type thing, because you've got Heather Jones and Rachel Ware and all these others in the past. My goodness, it'd be good to count your name among those. Big Canvas, the nonprofit that I'm a part of, we were fortunate enough to win last year for Best Comedy Ensemble, nominated again this year, and fantastic group. I'd say just because it's out of left field and it would be wild as all hell. I don't know how I got on that category for Best Actor in the play that I was in last year, because you see some of the names and the top echelon of talent. I've been in the audience for a number of those performances, and they deserve to be on that list. Apparently others think that I do as well, but as far as just satisfaction, you get a real genuine reaction out of me if you call my name. I would be falling over my feet, getting up the stage. I would be fumbling, really, to figure out what would I organically say. Because I think most of us, like, if we were nominated and we won the thing for Best Comedian, here's what I'd say, something to my mom, something with this, I'd structure it this way or that way. If you want something completely out of left field or whatnot that you were not expecting, you do that babbling thing. So I think for entertainment value, the babbling one would be fun to win.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what's up. I know a couple people in those categories. I was just, I'm just wondering. A couple people.
Yeah, it's
Nobody too major or nothing like that.
it's some solid list with you get a nice cross cut of the scene, like a snapshot of the scene, and it's kind of neat when you pay attention to that stuff. Stand up, improv, acting, all that. Yeah, all sorts of stuff's going on in Omaha. So.
That's dope. Man.
Besides yourself, who's your favorite person in the outstanding comedian category?
Ooh. Ooh.
Choose between your opponents.
Uh-oh, here we go.
The show can end early if you got the wrong answer.
I'm starting to not feel so good, guy.
Digging in. Man, I'm trying to, now my mind's going through the 2023 one. There's this one. Is that one on here?
He's on there.
Yeah.
I'm definitely.
He's definitely getting left off.
I'm left off that list. Don't worry about that.
I'd say just because there's more familiarity and that we're working shoulder to shoulder, big canvas, and I've seen more of his performances, more so than some of the others. I'd say Jeremy Plum. He's someone that I think doesn't get as much credit as he deserves for all the work that he does connecting comedians, bringing them to Omaha. With the podcast, his lovable little brother energy. Man, when he's excited, that dude, it's undeniable. His hair and his voice, his laugh will fill the room wherever it's at, and you need that. And I'd say him. Like if he gets anywhere close to it, if his name gets announced, I'm paying attention. I might be pulling out my phone, seeing what his babbling response would be. That'd be fun. I'd give the edge there.
That's what's up. So real quick, man, talk to us about improv, because we know you do that. You do something with like the Florentine players and things like that, right? As we kind of wind down, we want to plug the things that you do, and that's another thing you do. So talk to us a little bit about improv.
Yeah, appreciate that. Upcoming, you mentioned the Florentine Players. That's the theater group that I'm a part of up in Florence. We play out of the Florence City Hall, and usually about 3 or 4 plays a year, including their annual melodrama that's been going on for decades now. The history is very rich, almost 100 years old, that
That's
group.
really cool.
And fortunate to perform with them. February 17th, Battle of the Improv All-Stars, getting together a number of improv players up there, and that's a non-family friendly show. Just let loose wherever the games are going to go. Short form improv. I won last year, so I have to defend my championship. But that's February 17th, and then every third week at the Blackstone Theater is my team called Making a Scene, so, and that's the family-friendly type thing with Big Canvas. So yeah, it's and that's something quite a bit of fun because I'm 6'3", 6'4", 380. I'm working on the 380 part. I want that joke to not sting so much in a couple of years. I'm working on the 380, but it's so fun because a big guy like me, if I'm not smiling and I walk into a room, there's a certain reaction. Hide myself. Is this guy here for some problems? If I'm smiling, I get to be. You give me permission to be goofy and silly. I'll be. I've twerked. I've been a rabbit. I've done somersaults off of stages. I've done all sorts of things. I've kissed dudes. I've done whatever it takes you give me that permission and to make you laugh so hard you're crying and all that. I will do that every single day of the week, even though I ache every time I go to bed. So that's one of the things I love about improv is
I'm torn on the whole, like, do I want to see Ben twerking or do I not want
He
to
done
see
did a
Ben
Chris
twerking?
Funny you say that.
He done did a Chris Tucker impression.
We're
He's
about to get
twerking.
Oh,
He went to an all-black comedy show a couple months ago, and I was like, Ben Webb is having he's surprising me. This ain't the Ben Webb I know.
I don't know if I want to see that or the rabbit impression. Like,
right. All right,
like
Ben.
appealing to the furries, I say.
Yeah.
Tell
What
it-
kind of audience do you want for Food and Laughter?
We got to wrap it up, Ben, unfortunately, man. Tell everybody where they can follow you on socials and everything, man, and plug any shows you got coming up like the Florentine one. So
Yeah, appreciate that. Yep, as I said, every third week at the Blackstone Theater is called Making a Scene, my big canvas improv team, as well as the February 17th Battle of the Improv All-Stars up in Florence. Hopefully auditioning for some plays to get in there. Got some stand-up shows. Bull Moose this Sunday with Zach Peterson, Broken
it's a
Magic
great spot.
Comedy. But yeah, if you search Joy on Purpose Comedy on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, it'll come to my fun face, and I'm very active. So.
Man, thank you so much, Ben Webb, for being a
Appreciate it,
guest.
man.
Appreciate you coming in, Breanna, Lavetti, as always.
Yeah.
Thank you to Margaritas and KPAO. This is another episode of Food and Laughter. Terrence Galwith signing out now.
Appreciate it.
Nice.
So-